his line again.
While so much attention right now is focused on a certain racetrack in France, round 7 of the Talk Peak Racing Summer Super Cup comes from Sebring International Raceway, one of the most famous tracks in North America, opened in 1950. This track is known for great racing, and let's not forget this 17-turn, 3.7-mile racetrack is also one of the most popular amongst drivers as well. With me in the booth today, David Ward. And David, the last time we were here last season, I believe you had a moment in turn number 1 on lap 1.
Yeah, I ended up trying to go down the inside of Adam, and unfortunately 2 cars coming together, and we both ended up in the barrier and then end of the race.
So we're going to run through your grid momentarily. All the drivers now lining up on the grid for this race. Got a small field to do. We can obviously understand the reasons why for that. However, in the Corvette class, once again setting the pace, Farouk Manzar with a 1 minute 54.179. Then in second, Tapana Laniotto with 1 minute 54.827. About 6.5 tenths slower than Farouk Manzar there in the 58 machine. Girafai runs up in third, with Simon Geimer having a great qualifying there, sat in the 4th position, with Dave Geimer right behind him in row number 3. Wolf Stratermans lines up in the 6th position, Ian Rogers in 7th, Stephen Van Helsingen in 8th, and then Terry Dalberg and Jana Matikainen rounding out your Corvette field. And then in the 4 GTs, Nick Vestigi lining up in 11th on row number 6 with a time 1 minute 59.126. Janie Bachman in 12th, Toby Bushnell in 13th, Roderick Cronin in 14th, Yoni Hagner in 15th, Robert Burton in 16th, and William Pioneer rounds out your field.
Yeah, it looks like Farouk's got 7 tenths over second place, and if that's anything as his race pace, well, he looks like he's probably going to walk away with this again. I'd really like to see a good battle, but I don't think anyone else is going to be able to keep up with him. Simon Geimer and Dave Geimer, ridiculously, so we should keep an eye on those 2. And then the GT40 field, we've got a couple of the guys, and Roderick, sitting quite close on pace, so we'll have to keep an eye on those.
So there we are currently having a look at the number 58 machine of Farouk Manzar lining up on the inside of row number 1. This track, 17 turns, 3.7 miles long, and one of the things about it is very, very flat, but the most important part is the change in surface for parts of this racetrack. You see it there as they come out of turn number 1 down onto that short straightaway. Not only does the track change from more kind of concrete to asphalt, the track also narrows significantly from pretty much 4 or 5 wide all the way down to just simply 2 lanes across the racetrack. And David, this first part of the racetrack, very difficult to make a pass happen, and you're pretty much going to have to wait I don't know, until about turn number 7 until you're going to be able to make that first move.
Yeah, if you can get a good run, it's all about getting the setup off turn 1 into 2, 3 and 5. You basically got no chance. Then you've got 6, which is a big bend, and if you can get behind them after coming out of 5 and get a good setup, you're in with a good chance on 7. Then after that, it's pretty much follow the leader until you get down to turn number 17 at Sunset Bend. That's going to be your next opportunity. So it's a tough track. It's very, very bumpy, especially again through Sunset Bend. You're going to see a lot of guys taking different lines, and I think that's where we're going to see a lot of the accidents happening.
So you see that the field coming now through that section of the racetrack, and one of the things that really I've noticed in the past before, putting the power on some of these slow corners with that track surface really is more difficult than you see at certain other tracks on the schedule. And David, you do often see a number of drivers losing it onto the throttle here. They're not too careful.
Yeah, it's just because the car gets unsettled between the different surfaces. It's kind of best to just keep it in the lower gears and let the torque of these V8s like drag you out of the corners. Once a car gets unsettled from spinning the tyres, you're going to be spinning the tyres all the way out of that corner. Then when you get to the next corner, it happens again, and you just get into like a bit of a steamroller effect for each corner.
So we're going to go racing for 90 minutes here today. We've got the two classes. We have the Corvette C6R, the GT1s, and the Ford GTs. They're lining up your GT2 field. So we're going to be racing for 90 minutes. All these drivers will have to make themselves one pit stop. And Farouk Manzala, you see, he is currently coming down the back straightaway on the left-hand side of your screen. Tapana Ladioto on the right-hand side, running out row number 1. GFI, Simon Guyman, Dave Guyman running out your top 5 in the Corvette class, with Nick Vestigi, Yoni Batman, Toby Bushnell, Roger Cronin, Yoni Hagner running out your top 5 of your GT field. The pace car comes through the final corner there, you see, as he ducks underneath the bridge. He's going to make that hard right turn down towards pit lane. Lanioto's on the outside. Farouk Manzar, he is on the inside. As the pace car comes in, Manzar goes, we are green.
Yeah, Farouk got a really good start there, managed to get the jump on everyone, and that's allowed the rest of the field just kind of like single fired, and it's close at the back there between the GT cars.
And you saw there, Jurify, he got the jump onto Tapana Ladioto coming down into turn number 1. The GTs, they managed to get through okay as well. Big wreck there, Vestigi and Bachmann coming together there through turn number 3 and 4. They look as though they're both pointing in the same direction. But you had yourself a slow GT1 car, that was Tyler Dalberg, and as Jody Bachmann's looking down to try and make the pass there on Nick Vestigi, the two came together. In fact, Jody Bachmann, he also collected the rear of Jana Matikayan, and that was moments away from disaster there through the rear of that GT2's wheel.
Yeah, you up high and Tappanen and Guymo are all pretty close together now. If those guys start fighting, that's going to let Farouk pull up even more. So they just need to keep single file and see if one of them can get up behind and start roughing up Farouk a little, slow him down.
Vestigi and Bachmann are still at it. As you saw, they had their moment a couple of corners ago. And now Bachmann, he got alongside Vestigi just a second ago. As Vestigi got himself a little bit wide, you see there, that is Taro Dalberg trying to make his way through those two GT drivers, which has cost Bachmann the opportunity for the time being. But Bachmann really is handling the pressure, and I want to know just how much damage there is to both of those race cars. You saw Bachmann got a bump, Vestigi got himself a little bit damaged to his right-hand side. How is that going to come into play?
He's got a real good drive down there onto the back straight, and as they come into the bend, he's gone past him. He's gone. He's let him go.
Yeah, so Taro Dalberg's come past. That's going to allow Vestigi. He goes a little bit wide there. He goes very wide. This is going to allow Yoni Bachmann back into the lead there of the GT2 field. And Vestigi lost it on the final corner on lap number 1. Yoni Bachmann is into the lead, and that radical number 48 machine is now down into second position. And Roger Cronin is only a couple of turns behind. But here they go, ding dong again. Vestigi was looking down to the inside. Wasn't quite close enough, but he spins it on the power, just as we talked about in the race build-up. And then Vestigi collects another car there. That was Yoni Hagner into the wall. As Vestigi was recovering, it just looked like Hagner trying to go. As you saw, Vestigi just turning a little bit to the left as he got the car settled. Hagner into the wall, and his day is done, as is Nick Vestigi's.
Yeah, just, so unlucky there. Yeah, just getting on the power out of turn 1. It's just so bumpy on there, especially on the exit as you hit the apex. Be so careful, and just look like it got a little bit loose.
Yeah, and if you need to take it all the way back down into the first bit of turn number 1. You saw he took a very early line there. Had to turn the car again as he got himself very tight in the centre of the corner. Hit it too far, and then he just managed to overturn that car, spin it around, and for Joni Hagner, there was nothing he could do. When you've got a car spinning on the racetrack and you're doing 140 miles an hour through the corner, you have to make a decision oh so quickly, and for Hagner, unfortunately, he just took the wrong one.
Yeah, he was a little bit unlucky there on his choice, but that's racing. That will.
And for Manzar, just to update you, he is still your race leader in the number 58 Alpine Stars machine. As he comes across the line, the gap between himself and GFI is sat at about 3.8 seconds. In fact, Manzar took out a 1.5 second lead over GFI that last lap alone. GFI getting a great start from third on the grid, moving himself up into the second position. The final Vaniota, in fact, he dropped off by a full second from the GFI that last time by. In the fourth position, Simon Geimer, Dave Geimer is in the fourth position, with Simon Geimer in fifth. However, in the GT2 class, the big story of the day is the woes around Nick Vestigi there, as he is classified as out of the race, as is Joni Hagner. And Joni Bachmann, however, is still your race leader, with Roger Cronin currently sat in the second position. But, as we saw, David, pretty much we've only got 4 GT2 cars now who haven't got any damage, and we're only working lap number 3.
Yeah, they're gonna. I think maybe when we get into the pit stop area, depending on time between the drivers, they're gonna maybe look at getting some repairs. But I can see some people putting in some protests. So how those pan out over the next week.
And he only had the famous last words there just before he started this race: "I'm not afraid of vets." And I tell you what, he managed to use the vets to his advantage to get the race lead, but that first corner incident, that was close there with Richard Alberg. Currently having a look at Rob Straitman and Simon Geimer, and David, this is a very good battle on the racetrack.
Yeah, this is a real battle, but I was just looking at Roderick and Toby, because they are going at it. Toby's trying to find a way around him. They're just coming back onto the back straight, heading towards Sunset Bend. Toby's not very good through that section. He just seems to have struggled and lost a bit of pace, but he's better through the twisty section. But again, you're not going to be able to pass him through there, really.
Yeah, and what the issue is for Bushnell is that you set yourself up to make a pass from the Elmwood Straight, literally all the way down in that sequence of corners, turns pretty much 15 through 16 on the back way, see, through the Le Mans curve. And he just looked as though through 16 he loses a little bit of momentum, can't get on the power as early, perhaps he's cruising ahead of him, and that is what cost him there. As you saw, he got very close there. His clothing got very wide in the apex of turn number 1. Bushnell looking to the outside line there. He will have the line into the next corner, should be able to get alongside, but as I said, it's single file through there, and Bushnell has to put it back behind.
Yeah, it'll be able to get a nice ride back there. You could see that Cronin went defensive on there just to stop Toby having a look down the inside. Toby should be able to catch him through the next sector. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Look, he's closed up on braking so easily.
So you see that they're coming through, fan turn number 8 and then into number 9. And David, what's really interesting is that this track really is broken down into that sectors like you were just talking about. You have yourself that defined first sector of the racetrack.
Yeah, that's right. It's all just a twist sector, really. You're not going to be able to gain anything on there through the second section. Really try to set them up for a pass on Sunset Bend, which is what I would do. But some of the drivers want to be a little bit more aggressive than others.
Up to turn numbers 8 through turn 12, pretty much. Sorry, I believe we just had ourselves a moment of technical difficulties, but I believe I am right now. Toby, he is, again, it looks like he's not getting the job done on that sector 4, that last sector of the racetrack. In fact, he went very wide there.
Very wide, yeah. Too wide on there. He's losing. He's pushing too hard now, and he's heating up his front tyres, and that's going to give a knock-on effect for the next corner. So we'll just see if Kroneman can get this corner right, and see. It runs wide there, Toby.
He does
it's a
run
real
wide.
tight line. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kroneman runs wide in turn number 1, but oh, see, the inside, this is going to be close, and that was very, very close there. Bushnell having to pull back.
Yeah, he was good on the brakes though, but that just shows how much he can close up on him at will. He just needs to set that up properly. I think maybe he was being a little bit too aggressive there. I mean, we've got another like 60 minutes of this race to go. Yeah.
Only 75 minutes left to go. But I mean, yeah, if Bushnell hadn't made that move there, hadn't made that mistake into the Sunset Bend, the final corner, he would have been a lot closer into number 1. You see Kroner made the mistakes before, and I think if he can get himself a good run for the last corner, not worry about how far back he is through 16, he has got the opportunity to make that pass on Roderick Kronen. Meanwhile, the gap between Giuffre and Tapano Laniotto, that is down to 0.4 of a second. Laniotto getting himself back into the groove there in that number 14 Glacier Racing Machine, closing up nicely there as they come through turn number 17. And we've seen Giuffre and Laniotto having some great battles on the racetrack, and a little bit further behind them, you have got yourself what we have to call today, unfortunately, a Geimer train.
Well, I won't call it the Geimer train. The guy in front is usually the driver of the train. Who's that? That's you.
Oh, I was talking about, to be fair, they are closing. That Giuffre-Laniotto battle has allowed Dave Geimer to close, but then you've got yourself Dave Geimer, Simon Geimer, Rob Straightman, Ian Rogers, all the way back to David Van Helsingen. Johanna Kane looks as though he is getting to the point where he can start closing. So it's going to be very close in the racetrack, and as we saw before, tracks like Motegi, where it's difficult to overtrack. I believe we had the same at Mid-Ohio. It's who makes the least mistake once this field gets backed up. And what's more important is if you do make that mistake, you're not losing one position, you're losing yourselves 4 or 5 positions in a blink of an eye. Laniotto there is trying to put that pressure further on Giuffre in the number 15 machine. And we've seen how aggressive Laniotto can be, but he's been very susceptible to wearing out those front tyres. And it does look as though that 14 car at the moment is looking pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think Johan Pye's got a bit of a better drive on his car, but is he holding them up? I don't know. I think everyone's just kind of like trying to settle into a rhythm and see if they can catch up to Farouk, but it's like 7 seconds down the road, so he's pretty much done.
So, to run through your top 5 in both classes, you see Laniotto, he's going to the outside line. Is he trying to do the cut on the 15 machine? It looks like he got himself a good drive for the first sector of...
Ooh, a little bit wide there, mate.
Yeah. But Pye was very good on the second phase of acceleration, coming down into turn number 1. So to run through your top 5 for any more action occurs, Root Manzar, your race leader, Giuffre in second, Tapano Laniotto in third, Dave Geimer in fourth, Simon Geimer in fifth. Then in your GT2 field, it's Jody Batman from Roderick Kronen, Toby Bushnell in third, Robert Burton in fourth, and William Pynett is running out your top 5.
Johan Pye, I think he's slowing everyone. He's holding everyone up, just not a lot, but just the tiniest amount, and that's kind of like keeping this group together within 1 second, and that's allowed Rob to get on back of Simon there. There we go. We've got 5-way.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to take this opportunity while having Innuendo Bingo to say hello to a co-commentator Rob, who is currently at Le Mans. Thankfully the weather's a lot better there than it is in England, so hello to you, Rob, if you are going to watch this at any point in your life. I tell you what though, but it does look like that GT1 battle, it could come down to pit stops. As it always does in the GT1 field, if this field gets backed up too much, and
sorry to interrupt you. Toby's just had a half spin and put it into the wall coming out of Sunset Bend onto the start and finish straight. He's managed to hold it, but yeah, he's going again. He's just probably flat spotted his tyres, so that's going to be like driving on squares for the next few laps.
Yeah, just having a look. It was oh, he just missed the wall, I have to say. So good car control by him, but he had to wait as well, which lost him a little bit more time. And that allows Robert Burton in the number 05 Team Chartman team to move up into the 3rd position. But if we're approaching that pit window, and sorry, just as I said that, Robert Burton coming up into the 3rd spot, it looked as though he had a moment himself. He just hit the wall, and yeah, I'll let you go and have a look at the replay of that and see exactly what happened, but his car just shot up in the air.
Wow. Just looking at the I train here, which is, yeah, it's 5-way between Puffin, Dave, Simon and Rob, and then that's actually given a chance for Stephen to come up there as well, so not before your 6-way. Oh, there's been a big wreck at on the hairpin between. Oh, I need to have a look. Oh,
that is not good. That Dave Geimer is involved in that. So he was sat 3rd in that train, and he has got damage to his 23 machine. It looks as though he just got rear-ended by no one else but his brother in the Team Shark car. So calamity there for the Team Shark Dave Simon Geimer duo coming down into the hairpin. One Geimer brother punched the other off the racetrack, and what that means is that it's faced to one corner. Rob Traterman takes up 2 positions in the number 12 machine.
Oh, I think there's going to be some stern words between the Geimers after this.
Yes, I don't think they'll be talking too nicely over Sunday dinner tomorrow. But I was trying to say before all of that, would it be a good idea for someone like Laniotto, or someone who has got the speed in the middle of that pack, which currently isn't one, to pit early and just try and get himself that clean track position? There's not many GTs in this field. It is an option which, if you think you're just going to be better off by hot lapping, you could try and make up some time.
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult at the moment because I don't think the fuel number's going to be enough just yet. We might see someone coming around the half-hour mark. That would allow them to do this. Fuel's quite intensive on this.
Yeah, this is one of the most, as you say, the most intensive of the fuel consumption tracks, and that is because of those very long straightaways. When you think about it, you've got yourself pretty much 5 straightaways of sizable margin. You've got the one down in turn number 1, you've got the huge one coming out into turn number 7, and then you've got a couple of small ones and then a long back straightaway. But that stop and start thing, it didn't work at Motegi, and it doesn't seem to be working here. Is that something to do with the cars, that, you know, that stop-start rhythm loses the chance to gain positions, or is it just the fact that, you know, everyone's good at getting onto the brakes?
I think everyone's good at getting onto the brakes. They've kind of sussed it out. I mean, later on in the race, when the cars get a little bit lighter, that's when we'll see a few people making mistakes, and it will also show up if they've got a good car setup.
And unfortunately, it looks as though Toby Bushnell is also out of the race. Toby Bushnell is classified as out of the race, and this has been a difficult day for the GT2 field in its entirety. Having a look back to see what happened to Mr. Bushnell there in the number 31 Talk Creek Racing car, and it looked as though it was coming out of turn number 10 by the look of it. Cunningham Ben, just as he put the power down, car wanted to get squirty, got himself into grass, put the power down too early, rear end steps up, that 31 car, getting himself a ton of damage and is out of the race. And you know what? That means you have got yourselves currently 3 drivers circulating on the racetrack, Yanni Batman, Roger Cronin and William Pioneer. And 2 things to mention, great payday for these drivers as long as they complete half the race distance, but for the GT1 field, they've not got themselves around too many of the GT2 cars today.
Yeah, it means it's at this there's going to be not a lot of traffic, so this is going to allow Farouk to catch up, and it will allow the field to slow. Just want to say, William Piner, great driving, mate. You're in 3rd place. Just bring it on home.
And I have to say, yeah, and it shows, you know, drivers who can keep that car on the racetrack end up getting themselves some good positions, unlike Takuma Sato.
Here we go with a move down into the hairpin. No, I thought he might have done that on the pie there, but he didn't want to risk it. I think he's just going to sit behind him and then see if he can jump him on the pit stop. But Rob is absolutely flying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We've seen it in Rob Traitman's the last couple of races. He has got good pace in that machine, and that's not taking anything away from Traitman's. He's a great driver as well.
He's a good driver. I think what he lacked before, he's actually found, and that was consistency. So he's reeling up the back of these guys. He's going to be on them when they get onto the straight, and it all depends whether he gets flustered or whether he can just hold it together and just sit with them and not do anything daft. He hasn't got to. So fast drivers will always find their way by without punting people off.
And it's a great drive by Rob Straitman. And to run through your top 5 momentarily, Farouk Manzar, Pai, Stefano Laniotto, Rob Straitman, Simon Geimer, and then you've got yourself Andy Batman, Roger Cronin, and William Piner, your top 3 drivers, in fact the only 3 circling on the racetrack in the GT2 field. So, what we're going to do, we are going to just have a look at Farouk Manzar in the number 58 machine momentarily. He has led every lap once again here today. His fastest lap is a 1 minute 55.310, and once again the consistency has been key there for Farouk Manzar. Every single one of his laps have been within a literally a 1.1 second bracket. So I mean that's the sort of consistency that money cannot buy.
Yeah, it's just it would have been nice to have seen a race, see if it could actually race. I mean, we're getting down to this Vettel thing now, aren't we? It's, every race he's been in, when he's been in lead, he's just disappeared off.
Yeah, and it always seems to be that you have one dominant driver in the Super Cup at a time. He had obviously the story of Oliver Brandt last year. Yes, he did have a challenge from David Peterson, but a large part of that season. But whenever you got Oliver Brandt up front, he would just drive off into the sunset as you had a slow-moving car there on the back straightaway. That was Roderick Cronin in the GT2 field. So yet another one of the GT2 drivers involved in incident, and having a look to see what happened to him. In fact, you know what? I'm going to be really bad when I say this. It almost looks as though he popped off for a wee brake. He spun the car a little bit, just slowed down, and just sat there.
Yeah, maybe he was just trying to gather himself together before he got back up to speed again. I'm watching this 3-way battle for second place, and yeah, someone's actually dropped off the back of this, haven't they? Oh no, he's there. He's just Rob just seems to be sitting at the back, watching.
And in some ways, that's the best thing to do. If you can save your tyres, if you don't need to do anything, you can literally just sit there on the racetrack, get yourself a little bit of a little bit of coolant in your tyres. I'm going to rephrase that. Sit there at the back, keep your tyres cool, save a bit of fuel. You can go a lap later and get fresher tyres, spend less time in pit lane. You know, you really could make up a huge amount of positions when the field is this close. But I have to say, I expected Laniotto to be a little bit more aggressive on Pai. It looks like he's just content to sit there as well in that 14 car.
Yeah, I just don't. If I was Rob, when the pit window comes up very soon, because you're going to get into that area now, I would think about pitting now, because then you'll be able to leapfrog these guys. Because look at the way that he came onto the back of them. Pai is holding up, tapping him in, and Rob is just sitting there now, and he doesn't really want to do anything too stupid. But yeah, I would pit early. I'd go for that pit strategy early and try and leapfrog him.
Oh yeah, sorry, I completely agree. I was going to give you an update. Jenny Hagema is back circulating on the racetrack. He is currently classified as 6 laps down, currently scored in the 6th of the GT2 cars, driving laps of 2 minutes 4, 2 minute 4.123 was actually his last lap. When we compare that with his qualifying time, that's 3 seconds slower. When you compare that to any other laps he's done, well, you can't compare.
We got a little move for Rob is looking down inside of tapping in, coming into turn 1. Again, I don't think you should do anything. You should just sit and maybe put on the pressure, see if you can get him to make a mistake. But he should definitely, the team should be calling in for fuel and tyres.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be coming in within the next 5 minutes. And the thing is, you have to do it early to make it work, because you need time to make up the time whilst your tyres are fresh, but then also after you kind of got that prime off the tyre and you still got the clear track. You see Laniotto looking to the outside there of GFI as they come down into turn number 7. This is going to allow Rob Treatment to go down the inside.
No.
The two almost touch. Oh, so close.
My God! And this is it. This is giving the get up and go, because Tapping's on the wrong line here, and that's going to end up going into the next turn. Is he going to force the issue? I don't think so. No, that's all good. And that's going to give Rob the go now to try and put the pressure on Pi. Tapping just waited too long for that. He should have seen Rob coming on the F3 and tried to pressure Pi, but he didn't.
And then there were 2 and a damaged car as Roderick Cronin so out the race. This GT field are having a difficult day today. Jan Hagner, to say, he is circulating on the racetrack. In fact, his last lap was a 2 minute 23 as he had issues on the course. That number 17 Glacier Racing GT2 car not working well today. What that does, however, it leaves Yoni Batman in first and then William Pioneer in second as your sole remaining GT2 drivers in the GT1. The battle on the racetrack is currently for 3rd and 4th position. Laniotto and Treatment currently sat 4th and 3rd respectively. They need to make sure they don't fight too much with themselves and allow GFI to start gapping these 2 drivers. As soon as they start doing that, Pi can just drive away by about 3-4 seconds, then make his pit stop, and then all of a sudden he would be the one in the catbird seat. So those 2 drivers always need to work together to get back to the rear of the 15 of Pi.
Yeah, they need to stop battling and just let Rob. Rob is the faster of the drivers, I think, at the moment, and I think he'll be able to. They've already caught up on, almost caught up on Pi now, so we'll see how this pans out over the next few laps.
And strategy has always been such a big thing.
It's run wide a little bit again.
Yeah. So, and strategy has always been a big thing here at Sebring International. So, for these drivers, they are very used to having to go off strategy. But tyre degradation here, if you can keep your tyres, within that operating temperature, how bad is that tyre drop-off in comparison to other tracks like Mid-Ohio or Daytona or Motegi?
Yeah, it's not too bad, just because of the huge stage able to let the tyres cool down again. It's when you spin them up and then you go into the next corner and spin them up again, that's when the issues start rising. So just keep an eye on Simon Geimer. He seems to be catching up the battle for second place here.
So once again, Geimer is trying to get himself back involved. Dave Geimer, however, he's currently sat 1 minute 15 behind the race leader. In fact, he's also sat about a minute behind his brother Simon.
So just watching Rob there, he ran a little bit wide on the exit of Sunset Bend, and that's given a chance for Tapping to get on the back of him into turn 1. I don't think he's going to do anything stupid here.
So about half an hour into round 7 of the Tall Peak Racing touring, I'll keep on saying this every week, round 7 of the Tall Peak Racing Summer Super Cup here at Sebring International Raceway. Will Vincent and David Ward in the booth. Just going to take a moment to step aside and go on board with Farouk Manzar in the number 58 machine. In fact, no, we're not going to go in the 58 machine. We are going to go on board with Rob Strateman in that Falcon GP car momentarily. So there you see Rob Strateman coming through the final corner. He was looking all the way down to the inside line, almost sniffing the grass. Coming through turn number 17 here at Sebring. And he is really putting that pressure on GFI, as you saw there, on board with him in that number 12 Falcon GP machine. But the top three in the GT1 class is Farouk Manzar from GFI and Rob Strateman. The gap between GFI and Farouk Manzar, that is 19.4 seconds. The gap between GFI and Rob Strateman, however, that is less than 0.4 of a second. And then Padre Leoniota in 4th, Simon Geimer in 5th, Tim Van Helsing in 6th, Ian Rogers in 7th, Terry Dalbert in 8th.
Topping him was looking at the inside, Rob then, sorry, I thought he was going to throw it down the inside, but not.
And having a look very quickly for your GT field, this is very easy. We've got Yoni Batman from William Pioneer, then circling on the racetrack you have Roger Cronin, currently scored 4 laps down. In fact, now he's now back off the racetrack. Robert Burton trying to get repairs. Joni Hagner currently scored 7 laps down, with Toby Bushnell and Nick Prestige out of the race.
William Pioneer is amazing. He's in 2nd place. Fantastic drive by him. He's well deserved. He just needs to bring that thing home, and he'll get a nice big point score.
And the thing is, even though you're not driving for, to competition at the moment, you're not racing people directly on the racetrack, that pressure of still being having to bring that car home in one piece and get those championship points in the first place, Pioneer cannot just pull off the racetrack. He's got to do at least half distance, and he has still got Yoni Hagner, already scored 6 laps down, making sure he has to at least keep that car clean.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get any trouble from any of the other guys. He's so far ahead of of Roderick and that lot. Yeah, he'll be fine. He just needs to. There is a lot of pressure to bring this home, but all he needs to do is hit his markers, make sure he gets on the dash, and doesn't get involved in any GT1 squabbles as they come by.
So having a look then at that battle yet again to see Yoni Hagner, he is just coming to be lapped by a number of drivers. It looks as though that Ty Dalberg, Yanamata Kane and Dave Geimer, they have all fallen off the back of this lead couple of packs. Ty Dalberg currently scored in the 8th position, Yanamata Kane in 9th, Dave Geimer in 10th. We saw Dave Geimer had the issue with Yanamata Kane, not Yanamata Kane, with his brother Simon Geimer earlier on. And it looks as though he's actually still got the pace of his brother, but he's just a minute behind.
Yeah, I think that damage he got being punted off by his brother has actually slowed the car down quite considerably.
So the best battle on the racetrack is still that between Pai and Rob Strateman, currently sat in 2nd and 3rd. Spano Laniota is also right there in 4th. Simon Geimer looking very happy in the 5th spot, just to ride for the moment. Steven Van Helsing, and he is still in the picture as well, albeit 3 seconds behind then Van Helsingen, and then Tyler Dalberg is a further 8 seconds behind Ian Rogers, who sat in the 8th position. We just mentioned him there. But Straightman still hasn't been able to get the job done.
No, he hasn't. I think he's struggling on the fuel. The car's quite strong in certain areas. But having said that, Tapane is not getting anything. He's actually dropped back quite a considerable amount, and looks like Pye and Rob are pulling away that a little bit.
Just to let you know, coming up later on tonight, the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series presented by Safecraft Racing will be coming to you from Lime Rock Park for its season finale. That will be later on tonight on Glacier TV. Then the Afterburn IndyCar Series goes to Twin Ring Motegi's road course. That is tomorrow, 5 PM on Glacier TV as well. And don't forget, we also have the Grand Am Premier Series tomorrow afternoon as well. More details of that, go to iRacing.com. Meanwhile, Fruitmans are out front. The gap between first and second now up to 21.676 seconds. So
that's just crazy.
Yeah, and he's been able to do that week after week. And Fruitmans we haven't been able to see him get involved in too many on-track battles this season. He literally has just been driving off into the sunset week on week, and in some ways it'll almost be interesting for drivers to, for him to start in the middle of the pack once in a while, because we've seen this season the Fruitmans who can dominate, and unfortunately that means that we don't get to see the Fruitmans who can race.
Well, I think we tried to see that at Spa, but obviously circumstances.
And Yoni Bachmann is still your race leader in the GT2 field. William Piner is still sat, I say, in the second position with, I believe that Yoni Hagley, in fact, has managed to move himself up into fourth overall. And
Bob's ran the outside, he's just overtaken Pye, ran the outside of turn 1.
Wow.
I'm not quite sure how that happened.
That was intense.
He got him set up at Sunset Bend. If we can get a replay off the back straight, we can see how he actually pulled this off. Fantastic driving by Rob. Really impressed.
Yeah, I think that Rob got alongside Pye, and Pye, in fact, he just dived down to the inside, had clipped the curb, couldn't make the drop happen into turn number 2. So as soon as Straightman's got alongside, Pye was like, okay, you can have the corner, I would just try and do the undercut. Unfortunately, just clipped the curb, wasn't able to make it happen.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Rob just seemed to get the drive onto the start-finish straight, and that allowed him to get ahead of him and basically cut off his nose going into turn 1. Really impressed with Rob. This is going to be a well-deserved podium for him if he can keep this position.
And say that moves him up into the second position. So he is now sat in second spot. You have to move Joe Fire, who sat in second for most of this race. He is now down into the third position. And for Fight, this will be interesting to see how his car handles behind others, because he pretty much has been running by himself, leading that second pack for the majority of this race. And it will be interesting to see whether Straightman really does have any additional speed.
And Pye's going really the Sunset Bend here, but Tapman's going to try and do the cutback as they go under the bridge. He got blocked on the exit there, and that's really compromised his drive now. But he's actually seen Rob go ahead of him, and he wants to be up there as well. Because I actually think him and Rob have got the same pace. Pye is really struggling. I think he's cooked his tyres.
His tyres have gone off. Gladiator, he's got that. Yeah.
No, he's been overcautious there. Could have just thrown it down the inside, and Pye would have left it open. But again, this is going to give the number 14 car's really going to struggle now, because he's had 2 hard brakings, a few slides on the corners. It's going to take him a while to catch up to Pye.
And what this is going to do is why it runs a little bit wide there as they came through turn number 7, is allow Rob Straightman to just drive off into the sunset. The gap was up to 24.9 seconds between Straightman's and Fruit Manzar. Straightman's, in fact, it looks like he's got himself about a 1.5 second advantage now.
And now you can see Geimer is actually, he can smell some blood as well, so he can see those guys battling in front of him, and as those two battle, that's going to slow them down, and then next thing you know, you've got Geimer, Stephen coming onto the back of it. This is really hotting up.
Yeah, so Laniota, he really now, as we're just going to have a look on board with him momentarily, he needs to get himself alongside, getting a good run off this straightaway as he has got. Trying to line himself up now, coming down into the final corner, turn number 17. And this is where things get very, very difficult. Is he going to make the move on the outside? Is he going to try and down on the inside? Coming down into the corner, he's not going to do either. He's just going to sit and spot back in behind.
Yeah, I thought he might have like tried to pile on pressure there, but he's done exactly what Rob's done.
And he's hit.
So here we go. We are on the 45-minute when it comes in. So he must have been quite low on fuel, doing a low fuel run, and split his fuel, where the other guys will do probably a 60-minute run and then top up for fuel for the next 30 minutes. This is going to be interesting. This is where the strategy is going to play out, and we're going to see who's got what at the end of the day.
Those two drivers sat in pit lane, that is Juni Hagner and Robert Burton, both getting repairs to the race car out of the picture. However, Laniota, he has got himself now 4 fresh tyres, topping up with race gas, and he will come back out onto the racetrack. This is the point where he needs to push, because Straightman's also got a clear track ahead of him now. He needs to really push, otherwise Straightman will be able to get him through the sequence of pit stops. And we were just talking there to our tech guy, Phil Diaz, and he was just saying that if he can get the fresh tyres, David, he can try and jump them all, but we saw this last season, I think it was between Oliver Brown and David Peterson. Once you come out of pit lane, you have got so much speed for a lap and a half, but you have to be able to use it. And for Laniota, he is being a little bit conservative this race. If he has someone like a Straightman to a Pie coming up behind him on fresh tyres later on, then they've made their pit stop, and then it's going to be very interesting to see whether Laniota can defend his position as venomously as he has done so early on today.
Yeah, I think from a strategy point of view, I think doing the longest stint on new and basically running heavier fuel is going to give an advantage on the second stint, because you'll be on lighter fuel, and you'll also be on fresher tyres. You won't use as much. It'll give you a little bit of advantage towards the end of the race, but you can only use that advantage if you are battling closely with someone, and this is where Rob, Simon, Pie and Tapping In they were very, very close. So we're going to see in the next 5 minutes or so, I think we're going to see who's got what.
So that we're going to see that even sooner than that, because your Pie is down on pit lane.
Yeah, and there we go, just seeing. So hopefully we're going to see Rob come in the next few laps and see how it goes out. But I think Rob's got the pace on those two anyway, so we'll let you know. Let's see how this goes.
And Tapani was well clear. In fact, I say well clear, the gap between them was about 5 seconds on the racetrack, so it worked for Pai, but can it work for Rob Straightman? That is the key question, because that is what's going to keep Tapani on that second spot at the podium. Can he get himself around Rob Straightman's? We knew that people were sat behind Pai and Pai was slow. Now this pit sequence going, Straightman needs to bolt. Some guy needs to improve his times. Tapani Laniota just needs to literally hot lap for the next 5 laps just to try and get that gap up.
Yeah, I think Pie's kind of screwed himself up here, because he's going to be end up battling with Roger, and that's going to slow him up. And don't discount Geimer, because their fuel strategy is they're quite renowned for being not very heavy on the fuel, so they might be able to run longer into the stint.
So Robert Burton tries taking his GT2 car back onto the racetrack. It unfortunately, however, had contact with the wall, going very slowly at the moment, trying to get that car to work for him. There's no cars around him, so he should be okay momentarily, but coming down into turn number 1, that car really is crabbing a little bit. But I think there's almost a cat and mouse game going on, and somebody trying to advance their positions, knowing also that they've got to get themselves to halfway.
Taffinham's definitely leapfrog Pie in the pit stops there. He's come out way ahead of him, so it's going to be between Eimer and Rob when they come into pits. And don't discount Stephen. He's there or thereabouts, and the same with Rogers as well. They need to pit, so it's going to be pit stops, and the strategy is going to come into play within the next few minutes.
Dave Geimer, he comes down his pit lane. He was scored in the 10th position, 1 minute and a half behind the race leader. He is topping up now on fuel and race gas. Having a look back, see if any other drivers make the commitment down to pit lane. Not this time.
No. Let's have a look where Rob is. Is Rob coming in? Yeah, Rob's coming on to Sunset Bend, so he's catching up with the GT40 traffic now, so might be a good time to pit, but depends how his fuel number is.
And we're having a look to see what Straightman's commits
And
down.
here we go. Yeah, he's coming into the pit.
That always speeds it up there.
Yeah, getting on the pit limiter there to come into the pit. Who's that behind him? We've got Stevens coming in at the same time, and that's allowed Rogers to go through. And Simon Geimer's out there as well. He must be pretty on his field, so let's just watch how Rob does.
Yeah, Simon Geimer's currently sat in second position. The key battle is, though, Rob Straightman, who's currently sat in pit lane. Brano Laniotto in the number 14 machine, currently sat in 8th. Laniotto.
So we got Laniotto is coming around Sunset Bend, so we need to have a look where Rob is. Rob is still fueling the car up, and Laniotto is actually, he's gone past him. That's it.
I think he must have got a penalty. Surely not, but Straightman's lost a lot of time there down in pit lane.
Yeah, I don't know how he lost that much time, unless Laniotto was doing some crazy laps.
Just to update you as well, Unit Batman, he has pitted from the GT race lead. And what's interesting is that Pai also got around Rob Straightman's there.
Yeah, John Pye's actually got ahead of Rob as well. That's really disappointing. I think the fuel's wrong. They put too much fuel in the car or something, because he should have come out way ahead of them. But this is basically given Simon second place, because by the time those guys come back round, Simon's going to be able to have pitted and get ahead of them.
Yeah, so for at least momentarily, Simon Geimer is sat in second position in that Team Shark machine. However, he has still got to make himself one pit stop here at Sebring, as have a couple of the other drivers in this field. In fact, I take that back. That is Simon Geimer and Farouk Ansar, the two drivers I believe who do not need to pit.
I just can't quite understand how that got messed up by Rob's team there.
Oh, should play off the racetrack there in turn number 16.
Yeah, he's there on the back of the start finish straight. Obviously, just got a little bit wide, I think. Yeah, ran a little bit wide on the new tyres. Maybe wasn't quite used to the fuel load again, and yeah, just run wide. So now that's given Rob the extra position he needs, but he's going to be chasing. He might be catching us. Yeah, he's going to catch a Laniota. I still think he's heavy fuel. Or he was getting damage repaired.
Yeah, Rob Straightman's last lap, well, we can't really talk about that, as a 2 minute 43. That's compared the outlaps to that of Tapana Laniota, 2 minute 43 for Straightman. And when you have a look at Tapana Laniota's outlap, that was a 2 minute 33 as well. In fact, they're pretty much identical on their pit-in laps. It's scary how close they are.
That's really weird. I thought Rob had the jump on him. I really did. After he was a second or so ahead of him when they pitted.
Perhaps he did take some repairs.
Yeah, he would have definitely taken tyres. I think he took too much fuel on. Miscalculated the fuel.
And that not only affects the amount of fuel you have equals how fast you can go, it also affects a lot of the aerodynamic parts on this car, because that car really is set up to handle either a set fuel load or a very slowly declining fuel load, not having way too much fuel added into the car on a pit stop.
Yeah, I just don't understand what happened there. I seems to be coming back to Rob, and Rob's like 11 seconds behind Tappan. The only thing I can think of is that they put so much fuel in the car, and then this is going to have an effect on his pace as well throughout the race. But we'll see if he can get back up. But Simon Guy, he's don't discount Rogers either. You know, they've got good pace, and they're quite far ahead of these guys. So we just need to let the pit stops pan out, and then we'll know where everyone's sitting.
And for Manzar, he made his pit stop actually just last time by. Came out, he's lost the lead for the first time in this race to Simon Geimer, but we do expect Simon Geimer to come down pit road in a couple of laps time. So to run through your top 5 here in this field, Brute Manzar is your race leader. Simon Geimer currently sat.
Baruch said Simon Geimer is actually leading this race at the moment. We've got a spinner ahead of Simon there, and that is Jan Hager. He's got, of course, some going onto the next straight, onto the Mons corner. Yeah, driving grass definitely hurt his car there. So Simon Geimer goes on for another lap, so still not in, but we know that Geimer is very, very good at conserving fuel. It's all about getting off the throttle and just letting the car kiss around the corners nice and smoothly, and not in the balance, and that's going to give you a good fuel number. So Ian Rogers is into pits here, so here we go. So let's see if he can stay ahead. Jarno is going to jump him there, tap him in, and Rob. So he might come out ahead of Rob. Rob gets ahead of Ian there as he just comes out of the pits, and on pie. So that's panned out not too bad for Rob, but Geimer's the one to watch for. You need to see where he can go out after he makes his pit, which should be within. I'm expecting it should be this lap. Okay, Simon Geimer's just coming into sunset here. We can see him, he seems to be keeping it nice and tight. And yeah, here we go. So, comes up to the pit box, onto the limiter. and then down into the pits. And now we need to just keep an eye on Farouk. Farouk's obviously going to clear him, but then we get into Tapin and Rob and Pi. So hopefully we can see those guys clear. But Simon will be putting less fuel in the car this run. It'll be on fresher tyres, so come out behind Rob or Guy, he'll be doing quite well here. Jarno's actually is it in second place at the moment. Is Jarno pitted yet? Simon Garman leaves the pit, so Jarno hasn't pitted, and he's going to come out right behind Rob here. So Simon's fresh to tyres, he needs to take advantage of this and get onto Rob and just pressure him so hard. This is his one chance to do that. I think he's going to be the threat of the two. And Pi is just sitting steadily behind Rob and Simon. It's such a shame because I think Rob had put on too much fuel for this. Farouk has just disappeared up into the distance here. So if we go back and look at the GT1 field, you can see Backman is actually coming to lap William Pienaar. It's a good drive by William. He's done very well. He's got on back and he's going to get a well-deserved second place. I can see this battle between Connor and Rob really hot up here. Yeah, and Jarno is coming into the pits, so this is going to Simon and Rob. Well, not let them, but Simon and Rob are gonna pass them, and happening is somehow managed to find himself in second place after the pit stops have settled each other down. Simon's looking really good. He needs to make a move on Rob as quickly as possible so he can see if he can chase after Tapani. But if Rob and Simon keep battling, this is going to give Pi a chance to come up to the back of them. So here we go with the TFR SuperCup. We'll get a quick rundown of the 10 from the GT1 series. We've got Farouk Mazda in first place. Tapping is in second. Got Jarno is in third. Rob Strutman in fourth. Simon Guy is in a hot position of fifth with Rob. Johan Pi is in sixth. Stephen Van Hansling is in 7th, 8th Ian Rogers, 9th is Therion Kongsberg, and 10th is Dave Guy. In the GT4, it's got Jonny Backman. The only two people actually running are Jonny Backman and William Pienaar. Jan is early on. Roderick had a little accident as well, and Robert, Toby Bushnell and Nick all early on retirements. This race between Rob and Simon is really high. So I'm just, we're getting into the last 25-minute race, and it looked like Simon's just decided to sit behind Rob here. And yeah, we can see, and if we can just go on board with Simon, we can see him really getting onto the back bumper of just really pressuring through the Bishops and onto 15 and 16, see if we can get a run onto the run straight, try and set him up for Sunset Bend. Rob seems really quick through this, got a good on the car up, runs a bit wide. This might have been Simon run on him. Rob's got super defensive already. He knows that he can get a good run out on there.
Hello again. Sorry about that. That downtime was brought to you by Virgin Media.
Fantastic. Is that you saying not doing his job properly?
Yeah.
No, mate. I covered it for you.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I was just having a look there, and it does look as though Rob gets the best run out of the last section of the racetrack. But Simon Guyman, he really is charging that number 75 machine.
Yeah, he's on light, fresh tyres. I think Rob's team must have just miscalculated the fuel on it, definitely, because he should not be this far back. We'll have
not
to,
only that, but it looks like his lap times, where you suffer the most, it does seem to be down these kind of faster sweeping corners where you don't have you have more weight on the car to turn, and that seems to be where Simon's a little bit faster as well. But on the big braking zones and that, Rob Straightman still hasn't done it. It's just that kind of third section of the racetrack I was talking about earlier on. That is where Simon Guymer really is strong. In fact, they're coming up to it once again now. And as they come to this section of the racetrack, it's always a bit where you can really gain a lot of time, but it's so difficult to make a pass.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible to pass through this section. It seems just drop back a bit, and maybe the fuel's come down on Rob's car now, and he's able to get in there, and maybe he's able to take advantage now as fuel's started burning. Because he's definitely pulled out a little bit of a gap on Simon, and looks like he's chasing down Tapani, but he's too far back for that fuel pit stop. They definitely messed up on the fuel there.
So to run through your top 5 momentarily, Fruit Manzar, he's still your race leader, surprise, Barney Laniotto managed to get the jump, get himself up into the second position. Rob Straightman's in third, Simon Guyman in fourth, Giapai in fifth. Pai is the biggest loser in that, after his pit stop and going off the track as well. In the GT2 class, pretty much only 2 drivers to talk about, Yoni Batman and William Pioneer running first and second. Yoni Hagner is out of the race in third, as is Roderick Cronin, Robert Burton, Toby Bushell and Nick Vestigi. And David, I have to ask, when it comes to the GT2 field, is there anything really that's causing the GT2 drivers issues, or is there anything in particular that has made this track so hard for them?
No, I just think they were a little bit over aggressive at the beginning, and they forgot that it's actually a 90-minute race, as a lot of drivers seem to do. They want to get up there at the front on the first turn, because we saw earlier on there was some big accidents. Yeah, these type of races go on for such a long distance. And look at William Pioneer, he's just circulated around and just turned the laps, kept the car on the black stuff, and he's sitting pretty in second place, ahead of everyone else who seemed to have crashed out.
It does look as though Dave Geimer has pulled the car off the racetrack here in the number 23 machine. We saw him earlier on. He was involved in an incident with his brother Simon Geimer, coming down into turn number 7. The rear of Simon Geimer's car was dented ever so slightly, shall we say, by the number 23 of Dave Geimer. And it looks as though for Dave Geimer, his day is done. He has completed that half distance that is required.
Yeah, I think that's all that Dave was actually was to get that half and then pull it off and actually score some points.
Yeah, how to say though, it does look as though Simon Geimer, it doesn't look as though he got himself too much damage.
No, any damage on there at all. He's dropped a bit from Rob. I think Rob's actually got the pace on him for this, and we'll see how it handles. I mean, we've got another 25 minutes to go. So as we run down the TFR SuperCup, at 6, we've got Fruitmanzer in first place, 25 seconds ahead of Tapnin, and he's got a lead over Rob. There seems to be a battle between Rob and Simon for 3rd and 4th. Got Johan Pinar is in 5th place. In 6th, 7th is Ian Rogers, 8th is Tyrone, and 9th is Yanni Massen, and 10th is Dave Geimer, who has recently retired. In the GT40s, we've got Johan Beckman in 3rd place, William Pino in 2nd, right from him. In 3rd place, we've got Ewan Hager. 4th place, we've got Roderick. 5th place, we've got Robert Burton, and 6th and 7th is Toby and Nick. This race just seems to be a race of attrition for the GT40s, with only 2 cars on the track at the moment. That's Johnny Backman and William Pinar. So it's a great drive by William. Just goes to show you don't need to be the first person on the track to get up there on the podium. Simon is nicely got run on Rob, actually, as we come down into the hairpin. So Rob's obviously had a little bit of a moment somewhere. He was up in by at least a second. And Hugh Pinar he's come to the back of him. So if Rob and Simon end up fighting, we'll see a 3-way battle for 3rd place. All pit stops have now been completed, so it's a run to the flag. Not sure how much time we've got. If we can, definitely need to get on board with Simon as he hounds Rob onto the back straight. We've got 23 minutes to go, so Rob seems to be sticking up with the pressure, but I think he's struggling with his car because it's on the heavier fuel, and as the fuel burns off on Simon's car, he's going to be faster out of the two. I definitely think that Rob took on far too much fuel in that pit though. Yeah, you can see that Rob's closing in on. Simon's closing on Rob here, and if you can get a nice drive out as we go into turn 1, it's a very bumpy corner. We're going to be hitting the braking zone, and then we've got a bit of lap traffic. That would be William Pinar just staying well out of the way. Great drive by him once. Well done for 2nd place. As I predicted, as Rob and Simon battle between each other, this is going to give Johan Pai a chance to close up. Maybe Simon might have looked down the inside here. Rob's not gone defensive yet. I'm just going to tuck in behind him. And Pies gets past Williams, so he can continue chasing up behind Simon. This is definitely the battle on the track at the moment, between Simon and Rob for third place, the last time on the podium. I'm not really sure who's going to get this. I know that Simon's quite conservative about making passes, and he just likes to pressurise people. I just hope he doesn't get too flustered and make a stupid mistake. I'd like to the moment in place. Again, Simon just seems to catch him up in the bumpy section of Sunset Bend. So you can get a nice drive out into turn one. Simon seems to be lighter on the brakes into this section. Oh, Rob gets a little bit wide onto the curbs there. That's settled his car, and this is going to give Simon a chance to get a little bit of a run on him. Will he show himself in the mirrors? Just wants behind him, and you see your eyes actually up these guys, so now they're only about 3 seconds behind. This is gonna last 20 minutes or so. This is really gonna hot up. Yeah, Rob seems to have pulled out that gap again. Simon doesn't really have an answer for it. Well, as maybe we should have an onboard lap with Farouk and just see how it should be done by the master, who is now 20 seconds ahead of second place. Absolutely dominating performance by him. As we come through the twisty section, heading towards the Ulman Straight. Fantastic drive by him. He had a little incident at Spa, but obviously he's bounced back from that and shown everyone his form here at Sebring. I think he's actually leading the championship. I need to pull up the numbers on this and find out. This is going to give him a good points hole. And again, another great drive by Jonny Backman. He's now just cruising round. He's just past the start and finish strong. He doesn't need to do any more. He's managed to stay out of here. And looking at the points table, it looks like Tapanin is actually leading. So Farouk, after his incident at Spa, where he scored no points, is given the chance to actually lead the championship here. So with Farouk scoring high here, but Tapanin also scored high at Spa. So yep, that's given him the lead. And the GT40 class, I need to just pull out my table and have a look who's leading here. But again, Yanni Bachmann's just managed to stay out of trouble, keep his car intact, while everyone else seemed to have punted each other off, which is quite embarrassing. But that's multi-class racing. Oh, Yuan Pai is actually caught up to this battle between Simon and Rob, so this might give Simon the get up and go he needs to chase down Rob. Yuan Pai is looking really racy here. I think he could definitely take this fourth place away from Simon. He's a lot quicker through some of that bend. Simon seems to be quite tentative there. Maybe struggling with tyres a little bit, use them up a little bit too much. But this is definitely going to turn into a three-way battle for third place. With I'm not sure how much time is. We got about 15 minutes left on the clock here, so Yuan Pai with their lap times. Let's have a look at the lap times between Rob, Simon, and Yuan. So it's doing a 1:56. Simon's in the 1:56, and Yuan Pai is in the 1:56s as well. So Yuan Pai is actually running the same pace as Rob. So and out of those three, Simon is the slowest 56, running mid to highs, whereas Rob and Yuan Pai are running mid to lows. But let's compare that with Farouk, who is running 55s, and Tapanin is just cruising around in the high 56s. He's a good 12 seconds ahead of Rob, and I can't see him getting troubled within by the end of the race. The only on-action battle going on right now is between 12 of Rob Strutterman's, 75, which is Simon Geimer, and 15, which is Yuan Pai, and they're running within half a second of each other in lap times, and within a second of each other on the track. Simon's actually got the answer to Yuan Pai. Oh, and Rob's done a half spin by Rob there, going into turn 3. That is so disappointing. You can just see that if you could just get on the replay of that. Okay. as you can see, he was just going in there, got brakes, tagged the inside of the curve, and that gave him a half spin. Oh, that's so disappointing. I really wanted Rob to do well here. So that's actually promoted Simon up to 3rd place with Johan Park. So disappointed for Rob, absolutely gutted. He was doing really well there. He didn't need to push that hard. Really disappointed for him. This is going to give Johan Pai and Simon Geimer. Well, this is going to give Johan Pai a chance to catch up with Simon now and see who can get onto the last step of the podium. They're a good 13 seconds behind him, so I actually can't see them catching up there. And Farouk is a good 45 seconds ahead of them. So the battle on track right now is between Simon and Johan Pai for the 3rd position. And Rob has actually fallen back to Ian Rogers because Stephen Van Helsing has got ahead of him. So that's promoted him up to 5th place. Let's have a quick rundown of the classes. In 1st place we've got Farouk Manza, in 2nd place we've got Tapanin, in 3rd place we've got Simon Geimer, in 4th we've got Johan Pai, in 5th place we've got Stephen Van Hensling, in 6th we've got Rob Strassmans, in 7th we've got Ian Rogers, 8th we've got Terran, and 9th place we've got Jarno Matikainen. And then in the GT40 class we have 1st place is Janne Backman, 2nd is Willem Pijnaar, 3rd is Janne Hagger, 4th is Roderick, 5th is Robert Burton, 6th and 7th is Toby Bushnell and Nick, who crashed out early on. Okay, we can get an on board with Johan. We can see if he's actually going to be able to catch up with him. Simon's already seems to be going defensive there. Maybe he's just checking in his mirrors to make sure he can figure out where Johan is. Johan Pai is half a second quicker than him on the last lap. Let's see what their lap times are this time around. 56.4 between him and a 56.9 for Johan, so Simon's able to keep that distance between them. It's whether he can keep the pressure. So Johan Pai seems to smash the curbs there to go into 2, 3 and 5. Oh, and Rob's gone up again. Rob has gone up again. I believe that is into... I need to have a look. Is it possible to get a replay of that? Oh, that's going into turn 1. Rob's gone up into turn 1. It looks like he's... No, it's not into turn 1. It's into turn 2. He's overshot it. So it's got a little bit loose. Yeah, as it comes out, it's just gonna tag the tyres. And I think... it's devastating. Absolutely, he was driving so well. I'm gutted for you, mate, I really am. So that's going to promote Ian Rogers up a position. So let's go back and have a look at what's happening between Yuan Pai and Simon, because that's going to be the battle for the last step on the podium. We've got about 9 minutes to go, so can Yuan Pai catch Simon Geimer? Okay, we're coming down to the last 6 minutes here of the TFR SuperCup. At the moment we've got Fruitman's streaks ahead of everyone else, with second place is Tapping In, third place is Simon Geimer, fourth place is Yuan Pai, fifth place is Stephen, sixth place is Ian Rogers, seventh is Tyrio, eighth is Yanni, and ninth place is Rob, who unfortunately has retired. In the GT40 class we've got first place with Yanni Brackman, second place is William Pienaar, third place is Yanni Hager, fourth place is Roderick, fifth place is Robert, and rounding up the last two positions is Toby and Nick, who have retired. The last two cars circulating in the GT40 class are Yanni Brackman and William Pienaar. Everyone else has had incidents early on in the race or has retired due to damage. The closest battle at the moment is between Yuan Pai and Simon Geimer. We're coming down into the last few minutes here, and Yuan Pai is looking like he could get him. It's going to be tough. Simon's gone super defensive already, maybe just trying to break the draft onto the start-finish straight. It's going to be tough. I mean, catching's one thing, but passing is another, especially around this circuit. He needs a good few seconds. He's about a second behind him. The lap times here: Simon Geimer running 56.1. and Yuan Pai is matching him with a 56.1, so these guys are running basically neck and neck regarding lap times. Just the slightest mistake by either driver is all that's needed here, but Yuan Pai seems to be catching him on that twisty section. I think Simon's got it in the bag here. He just seems to be answer to those lap times whenever he wants, and just keep that steady gap of about a second here. Oh, Yano seems to have gone out, and yeah, Yano seems to have parked it. He's actually in the pits getting repaired by the looks of it. We're down to the last 3 minutes here as Yuan Pai is trying to pile on the pressure onto Simon Geimer. Just running a little bit wide onto turn 1 as we go into 2, 3 and 4 onto the big bend heading towards the hairpin. One of the best places to make an overtaking manoeuvre. On that last lap, again they're running equal footing on time, so 56.2 by Simon and a 56.2 by Yuan Pai. They're coming up to GT40 traffic for probably the last time. So is this going to give, is William Pienaar going to move well out of the way and allow the GT1 cars? Oh, he just gets a little bit loose, and that's given Simon Geimer a little bit, made him a little bit nervous going in there, but Johan Pye streaks past him, so this has allowed Johan Pye to catch up to Simon in the last dying minute of this race. I just need to check with my timekeeper here, and we've got about 2 more laps to go here, and this is the closest Johan's been to Simon within the last half of this stint. It's a do or die situation whether he feels he can actually make the move. And through Sunset Bend, he's absolutely incredible. Here we go. He's got the bit between his teeth, using all of the track and then some. Johan Pye is looking very. He can taste that. He can taste that third position now. Simon just got a better run there. And here we go for the last lap with Farouk Manzar. Absolutely incredible drive by him as the white flag is out. And this is pretty much, he just needs to bring this home. He'll get maximum points. Next we have tapping him, and while Farouk goes around, I'm going to keep an eye on Simon and Yuar. But an amazing drive by Farouk, dominating the class, 35 seconds ahead of second place. I'm sure he could have harder, but he's decided to just keep it on the track. I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch Simon here. Johan's might have just settled for 4th place. And here we go with Farouk Manzar coming through Sunset Bend to take round 7 of the TFR SuperCup at Sebring. He's going to be absolutely delighted with that result. Yeah, you can see how happy he is in the car. A well-deserved win, mate. Very good drive. Even a class of your own, as you put it into the tyre wall. I don't think your pit crew is going to be too happy with that. And in second place we got Tapani, as he's on the back straight, coming through the bumpy Sunset Bend. A great drive from him. Unfortunately, for Rob, they obviously got the fuel number wrong, but can't take anything away from his drive for second place. And Simon Geimer and Yuan Pai take the Sunset Bend for the final time, coming onto the start and finish straight. We have Simon Geimer, who somehow managed to get his way up into 3rd place. Fantastic drive by him, and unfortunately for Yuan Pai, he finishes in 4th. can't be too disappointed with that. We have Steven Van Helsing in 5th place as he crosses the line, and Ian Rogers is going to take up the 6th place. Once again, Peru, fantastic drive by him, a class of his own. And Yuan Pai, we've just found out, was ran out of fuel just as he crossed the line, so he was really pushing his luck towards the end there. And the GT40 winner, as he comes around Sunset Bend, is Yanni Bankman. Great drive by him, managed to stay out of trouble, and yeah, just bring it home. William Piner, 2nd place. So again, for the TFR SuperCup round 7 at Sebring, let's run through the GT40 class. Sorry, the GT1. We've got 1st place Farouk Manzoor, 2nd place is Tapanin, 3rd place is Simon Guymuth, 4th is Yuan Pai, 5th is Steven Van Helsing, 6th is Ian Rogers, 7th is Terrio, 8th is Yanni, 9th is Rob, who had a great drive, and 10th is Dave Hammer. In the GT40 class, in 1st place with a great drive is Yanni Backman, 2nd place is William Piner, 4th place is Johan Hago, 5th place is Roderick, 7th is Robert, and 8th and 9th is Toby and Nick. So there we are. We've got a few drivers in for interviews. So Yanni, can you tell us how you took that GT40 to the win there, as you managed to stay out of trouble?
Was that for me?
That was you.
I stayed out of trouble, you say?
Well, yeah.
I had troubles lap 1 in turn 3, where where I actually damaged my car a little bit. I took Nick and one of the Corvettes in turn 1 from the outside. Then I came back behind the Corvette approaching turn 3, and well, I was ahead of Nick, and I braked basically to avoid. Well, honestly, I'm looking at the replay right now. I don't know what to say. I mean, I dodged the Corvette, who braked early, and Nick was coming like nobody was there, and well, we had a small contact, which obviously broke Nick's car. I took a bit of damage, but nothing bad. But sadly, Nick had to retire, and after that, it was 90 minutes of boredom.
Was the damage on your car, did that really affect your race, or were you able to just kind of drive around?
Yeah, it kind of made my car, the first 45 minutes before the pit stops, it was very, very loose. I mean, the car was, it was not snap loose, it was basically like I had a preload of like 300 pounds. I mean, every time I touched the throttle, the car just wished to go slide. And when I came to the pits at the halfway mark, I got all the 1 minute of repairs done. After that, it was fine. And after that, I actually did 2 extra pit stops just for hot lapping purpose.
Fantastic. Great result, and well done on your drive. Next up, we have the GT1 class, 2nd place, Tapani. How did your race go? Did you have any contact in the first half of the race?
No contact at all. It was fine. I wasn't too fast at first. My starts were really bad, so I dropped to 3rd in the start, and I was stuck there for a while.
Yeah, we could see you having a kind of a hot lap battle between yourself, Rob, and Yuan Pai, and you really struggled to get Pai Yuan until Rob came up behind you. I thought that maybe he would give you a little bit of pressure to make that move on Pai. did you not want to be too aggressive on him?
Yeah, and I was faster in all the wrong places, so wasn't too much of a help to get past.
Yeah, but after you saw Rob got by you, and then he moved on to Johan, and you managed to get by, and that seemed to give you get up and get to be a little bit more aggressive on pie. But yeah, great drive by yourself, and well done on the second place. And I believe you're still leading the championship.
Thank you.
And next up we have Jarno, who brought up the rear in the GT1 class 1 lap down. What happened to you towards the end? We didn't really catch that.
Look at my brakes and touched the wall and got stuck in there.
So apart from that, how was your race? Did you feel you could compete with the faster guys, or were you just circulating to try and get some points?
Well, I didn't really have any practice for this race, so I couldn't at start race with the faster guys, but yeah.
Well done on actually finishing the race. Some of the GT40s didn't even make it past. Well, they were like 30 laps down. Okay. Okay, and that's going to round up round 7 of the TFR SuperCup from Sebring. Thank you for watching Glacier TV, and from myself, and I'm sure from Will when he comes back online, it's good night, and thank you very much.
Start-finish line again.